Look, it's a beautiful document. It is the foundation of our country. And if it was just left at that, I think we'd be in a very good place. If you actually look at it, it says the government has the right to govern, that everybody's basic rights will be protected. They're not just their property, but their taonga, all of their rights to live as they'd like to live, and that everyone has the same rights and duties. You can read it in a page. It's a fabulous piece of work. But we've got a problem, which is that over the past 50 years, since Parliament said that there was such thing as treaty principles, and that's how we should view it, that's the lens through which we should see the treaty from the present day, Parliament forgot to do something. It forgot to say what those principles actually are, and into that void has rushed jurists from the courts, the Waitangi Tribunal, whose job it is to define the principles but doesn't want to have this bill, despite not having done it themselves for 50 years. You've seen the public service, you've seen the academics, you've seen a relatively small group of New Zealanders have come up with an idea of what Parliament meant by the principles. And the problem is that that definition says that there's a partnership between races. That means that we are seen primarily as a race rather than as human beings with equal rights in this country. And the result of that is that all sorts of other things that we need to be able to solve, like how do we build more houses for the next generation? How do we consent and build and fund the infrastructure to connect those houses together and connect them to jobs and opportunity? Come to that. How do we grow the economy? How do we ensure that people get along to school and get an education? Has been distracted and sidelined by this constant obsession with division under the so-called principles of the treaty. They've said that it's a partnership between races and therefore there had to be a separate Māori health authority. Three Waters had to be co-governed. That if you have a public department, there might be a Māori CEO and a non-Māori CEO. That you can have infrastructure projects held up by the need to consult local iwi. And on it goes. So many of the problems that we need to solve together, we actually can't do because of this divisive interpretation of the treaty that Parliament left open to a small group of people to have a say that is different from how most New Zealanders would like to live and believe. The Treaty Principles Bill is the solution to that problem. It says that the treaty means what it says and says what it means. Government has the right to govern, everyone has their basic rights protected, and everyone has the same rights and duties. And I think if Parliament was to finally answer the question it posed 50 years ago with the Treaty of Waitangi Act, that there are principles without saying what they are, then I think we could actually go forward together and solve so many of the other challenges that we face. But the challenge for people who disagree with that is simply, where in the world is a society that has succeeded by dividing people the way that this partnership between races construct seeks to divide New Zealanders?